Right now, you might be one of millions of people pulling back from others. You're choosing to stay away from crowds, picking quiet over loud, wanting space instead of chaos. Everyone calls this the dark side of being alone, the scary path that leads to being lonely and sad. But here's what nobody's telling you. We've got this totally wrong. Imagine yourself choosing to leave a party early, saying no to group hangouts, and turning your phone off. Everyone worries you're becoming weird. People say you're going down a bad path. Your family thinks something's broken about you. What if I told you that you aren't broken? What if pulling away isn't the dark, dangerous thing everyone thinks it is? Today, we're going to explore what's really happening inside your brain when you choose to be alone. We'll uncover why society fights so hard against this choice and discover what happens when the need for space goes too far. Then we'll reveal the surprising truth about connection that changes everything. Here's the question that's going to change your life. What if your need to step back isn't the problem? What if it's actually the smartest thing you can do in a world that's lost its mind? By the end, you'll have a completely new understanding of what it means to choose distance, and you'll discover tools that let you guide this loud world on your own terms. So let's start with your brain and why it might be keeping something special safe. Here's what nobody tells you about your brain. If you're sitting here wondering why loud restaurants drain you while others seem energized, you're not broken. You're just wired differently. Scientists scanned the brains of quiet people and found something amazing. The thinking part of your brain is actually thicker than someone who loves crowds. While they think out loud, you're processing deep thoughts inside your head. It's like comparing a race car to a submarine. Both are powerful, but they work best in totally different places. But here's the crazy part. Your brain needs less excitement to feel good. What feels perfect to you feels boring to them. What gets them pumped makes you want to hide. You're not weird, you're just tuned to a different frequency. Think about your last Zoom call. While everyone else seemed to love all that fast talking, you probably felt drained, right? That's because your brain was working overtime, trying to keep up with all those voices and faces. But remember that moment when the call finally ended? When you could breathe again? That's your brain saying thank you. Your brain makes different chemicals than theirs. While they get their energy from parties and noise, you literally get a natural high from quiet time and deep thinking. You're not hiding from the world. You're recharging your batteries. So the next time someone asks why you just sat there in a meeting, remember this. Your brain was doing something theirs couldn't. You were going deep while they stayed shallow. You were connecting dots while they were just making noise. The real question isn't why you need quiet. It's why doesn't everyone else understand that the best ideas come from silence? Remember how we said your brain works differently? Well, here's the crazy part. That difference is costing America $350 billion every year. And it's not because quiet people are bad at their jobs. It's because nobody understands how powerful they really are. Imagine this. You're trying to get a job. The boss wants someone dynamic and outgoing. They want you to talk fast and act super excited. Sound familiar? That's not looking for the best person. That's just picking favorites. Schools do the same thing. You know that kid who never raises their hand but gets A's on every test? Teachers think something's wrong with them because they like working alone. But the loud kid who can't sit still? They call that future leader material. We're teaching kids to believe that thinking before speaking is a character flaw. But here's what's really going on. Companies are throwing away their best workers. Those quiet employees you see, they're getting real work done while everyone else is in boring meetings. They're solving hard problems while others are chatting at the coffee machine. They're the strategic thinkers, the careful decision makers, the ones who actually read the whole proposal before the meeting. And when these people feel ignored and unimportant, they leave. It costs between 30% to 200% of someone's yearly pay to replace them when they quit. Do that math across millions of quiet workers who feel like they don't belong, and boom, $350 billion are lost. The weird part? When everyone started working from home, something amazing happened. Suddenly, quiet people couldn't be ignored anymore. They could think without interruption. They could share ideas without having to shout over everyone. For the first time, people could see what that different brain could really do. So here's what no one wants to say out loud. The world isn't made for you because the people running things don't understand you. But every time they ignore what you can do, they're not just missing out, they're literally paying for their ignorance. So we've talked about your amazing brain and how the world doesn't get it. But here's where things get scary. There's a thin line between good alone time and something much more dangerous.
You know, I'm really no one special. And I have no one. As so many of us do, I think that's the thing the devil just tries to get you to believe over and over again in different ways.
And millions of people are crossing it without even knowing. Remember that awesome brain we talked about? Well, when it spends too much time alone, it can start working against you. Your mind begins playing tricks on you. You start seeing problems that aren't really there. You start believing things that just aren't true. Here's how it happens. You're already feeling misunderstood, right? So you spend more time online looking for people who understand you. But here's the trap. The internet doesn't show you different ideas. It shows you more of what you already think. It's like being stuck in a room where you only hear your own voice echoing back, getting louder and angrier each time. Think of it like this. Imagine you think your neighbor hates you, so you start watching them through your window. Every time they don't wave, that proves they hate you. Every time they put out trash early, they're trying to bug you. Your brain becomes like a detective, but it only looks for clues that you're right. This is where it gets really dark. When people feel alone and mad long enough, they become easy targets for the worst kinds of groups online. These groups don't care about your feelings. They just want you angry. They tell you that feeling lonely isn't your fault. It's them. It's the loud people, the different people, the people who don't look like you. And here's the scary part. It can happen to anyone. That quiet kid who just wanted to be understood, 6 months on the wrong websites and suddenly they think the whole world is against them. That lonely adult who got ignored at work, a year reading angry posts, and now they see enemies everywhere. The saddest part? It all started with that same beautiful need for quiet that we talked about earlier. But somewhere along the way, good alone time became bad isolation. The very thing that makes you special, your deep thinking, gets stolen by fear and anger. So how do you know if you've crossed the line? Ask yourself this. Does your alone time make you feel calm or worried? Do you feel better or worse about people afterward? Are you choosing to be alone, or does it feel like you have no choice? So we just talked about how people can slip from good alone time into something darker. But here's what's really messed up. The apps on your phone are actually made to make this happen. They're not just showing you what you want to see, they're training you to be angry and alone. Think about your TikTok or YouTube. Ever notice how one sad video leads to 10 more? One angry post leads to hours of mad stuff? That's not by accident. These apps watch what you click on and then give you more of the same thing. Remember that awesome brain we talked about that thinks deep? Well, these apps know exactly how to trick it. They figured out that angry videos keep you watching longer than happy ones. Scary stuff keeps you hooked more than fun stuff. So guess what they show you more of? Here's an example. Let's say you're feeling lonely and you watch a video about how nobody understands quiet people. The app thinks, oh, this person likes videos about feeling left out. So it shows you more. Soon you're watching stuff about how life isn't fair, how it's someone else's fault, how you should be mad about it. But here's the really scary part. These apps don't care if what they show you is real or fake. They only care if it keeps you staring at your screen. A kid feeling left out at school can go from watching funny cat videos to crazy conspiracy stuff in just a few hours. The app doesn't care that it's hurting their brain. It just wants those watch minutes. And remember how we said your brain feels good during quiet time? Well, social media steals that too. Every time your phone buzzes, you get a tiny rush of excitement. But when it doesn't buzz, you feel worse than before. So you check again and again. You're not choosing to be online. You're being taught to need it like a drug. The worst part? These companies know exactly what they're doing. They pay smart people to make their apps more addictive. They study how to make lonely people feel more lonely Angry people feel more angry because that's how they make money. So next time you're scrolling at 2 a.m. feeling terrible, remember this. That's not your brain being weak. That's huge companies getting rich by turning your need for friends into cash. Your loneliness is literally their business model. So we've talked about your amazing brain, how the world doesn't get it, how things can go dark, and how apps make it worse. But here's the twist that changes everything. While everyone else is collecting friends like Pokemon cards, you've been doing something totally different, and it might just be the secret to being happy. Think about this. Who knows you better? Your 500 Instagram followers or your one best friend? Who would you text at 3 a.m. when everything goes wrong? Your group chat with 20 people or that one person who really gets you? Here's what smart people found when they studied what makes people happy. It's not about how many people you know. It's about how close those friendships are. And guess what? Quiet people are way better at this than anyone else. Remember that brain we talked about that thinks deep? Well, it doesn't just think deep about stuff, it makes deep friendships too. While others are talking about boring things like the weather, you're having real talks about dreams, fears, and what actually matters. While they're trying to meet everyone at parties, you're making friendships that last forever. But here's the weird part. Everyone has this totally backwards. We think being social means being loud, having tons of friends, and always being on. But that's like saying being smart means talking fast. People mix up being busy with being good at something. Think about your closest friend. I bet it started with one real talk, not 100 fake ones. Maybe you were both the quiet kids at some party, found each other in the corner, and suddenly hours felt like minutes because you were actually talking about something real. That's your superpower. While others get tired from keeping up with dozens of fake friendships, you put your energy into a few friendships that actually make you feel good. You're like a chef making amazing food while they're flipping burgers at McDonald's. And here's what's really cool. The people you talk to feel it too. They walk away from you feeling understood, heard, and really seen. You give them something they can't get from their 50 other friends. You actually pay attention and care. But everyone tells you this is wrong. They say you should want to go to every party, know everyone's name, and be the star of the show. That's like telling a diamond it should try to be a bunch of rocks. So what if we changed how we think about this? What if instead of asking, why don't you have more friends? We asked, how did you get so good at real friendship? What if instead of thinking your small group of friends is bad, we saw it as perfect? So now you know your brain is awesome. The world loses tons of money by not getting it, and you're actually amazing at friendship. But here's the hardest part of this whole thing. Learning to believe it about yourself. Because here's what nobody tells you. Accepting yourself isn't just some warm, fuzzy feeling. It's literally like having a shield against all the mean stuff people say. Remember how we talked about people going to dark places when they feel left out? That almost never happens to people who really like who they are. Think about it like this. When someone makes fun of you for being quiet, and you know deep down that being quiet is your superpower, their words just bounce off. But when you secretly think something's wrong with you, those same words hurt bad and stay in your head for years. Here's the cool thing smart people found. People who accept themselves exactly as they are actually deal with stress better, feel less sad, and get over bad stuff faster. It's like having invisible armor that keeps you safe from life's worst moments. But accepting yourself when you're quiet is hard because you have to fight against everything people taught you. Your whole life, everyone's been trying to fix you. Teachers wanted you to talk more in class. Parents worried you didn't have enough friends. Coaches wanted you to be more pushy. Everyone had ideas about how you should change. So your brain learned to think being quiet was broken instead of special. You started watching yourself all the time. Am I too quiet? Should I talk more? Do people think I'm weird? But here's the big moment. What if you stopped trying to be someone else and started being more of who you already are? What if instead of asking, how can I be louder? You asked, how can I use my quiet power better? This isn't about giving up or making excuses. This is about understanding that a race car doesn't need to become a bike. It just needs to find the right road. Being sensitive isn't being weak. It's being careful. Needing alone time isn't being mean. It's how you charge up your superpowers. The people who love you don't love you even though you're quiet. They love you because you're quiet. They love that you really listen, think before talking, and make places where people can have real talks. So here's what to try. For 1 week, stop saying sorry for being you. Stop saying, sorry, I'm so quiet, or sorry, I need space. Start saying, I'm thinking about this, and I need to charge up. Watch how different people act when you're proud of who you are instead of sorry about it. So now you know the truth about your awesome brain, and you're starting to like who you really are. But here's the real question. How do you actually live in this loud world without losing yourself? First, think of your energy like a phone battery. You wouldn't use your phone all day at 10% and expect it to work, right? Same with your social energy. Plan your alone time like you plan everything else important. It's not selfish, it's smart. Second, pick what matters. You don't have to go to every party, join every group chat, or talk to everyone at every event. Choose the social stuff that you actually care about and skip the rest without feeling bad. Remember, better friends, not more friends. Third, find your people online, but do it the right way. Look for small groups about stuff you like, not huge crowds where nobody will notice you. Use apps to connect when you want to. Text instead of calling, message before hanging out. Video chat when you want to see faces without leaving your house. Fourth, set rules like you mean it. I need some quiet time is enough. You don't need to explain more. I think better when I can figure this out alone first isn't making excuses. It's telling people how you work. Teach people how your brain works instead of saying sorry for it. And here's the secret trick. Become the person who makes room for real talks. Have small dinners instead of big parties. Ask the big questions. Be the one who turns boring small talk into conversations that actually matter. When you do this, you're not just getting by in a loud world, you're making it way better. Your quiet isn't broken. It's exactly what the world needs more of. Use it. Remember that person we started with? Sitting alone, looking at party pictures, wondering what's wrong with them for wanting to stay home? Here's what we know now. They weren't broken. They weren't the problem. That person sitting in the quiet was exactly where cool stuff gets made. The question was never, what's wrong with me for needing alone time? The real question was always, what's wrong with a world that doesn't get that quiet time is where awesome things happen. That $350 billion we talked about? That's not the cost of people being weird. That's the price of smart people being ignored. Every cool idea, every big discovery, and everything that changed the world started in someone's head during a quiet moment. Your need for alone time isn't you hiding from life. It's you making life better. So stop asking how you can fit into their noisy world. Start asking how their world can catch up to your quiet awesomeness. Because the future isn't built by the loudest person in the room, it's built by the smartest. Here's a question that only makes sense now. If you could change the world to work for people like you, what would you fix first? Think about it. Really think about it. Because thinking, that's what you're amazing at. If this video blew your mind, hit subscribe for more stuff that changes everything. Because the quiet revolution, it's just getting started.